We with DJ Marmalade. So we meet again, podcast. Me
Hello,
and Grandma, me and Grandma are really getting an enjoyment out of the podcast. Grandma, do you like the podcast?
Yeah, I do.
My grandma's guess what I found out, guys? My grandma's actually American.
Yeah, I'm an American.
See, I didn't know that. I always thought she was North Korean.
Oh,
Oh man, yeah. Today was kind of rough in a way, you know. I mean, I had to battle a lot of things. Mm. I had to battle a lot of things, you know, temptation and all that crap. Because I was at the carnival, the fair, you know, by myself, and you know, every year I would go with you know who, and let's just say it was very hard not to make that call. Ugh. It was hard. And but I managed. What's the word I'm looking for? I handled it very well. I right when I looked at, you know, the number that I could call, and I was like, no, I gotta stay strong. I mean, sure, you know, it's been tough, but man, I had a good time at the fair by myself. And I texted my friend like right when I told myself no. I said, "You would be so proud of me right now because Grandma, I gotta put effort in this. Like, I gotta keep my ground. I'm a grown adult.
that's
Period.
right.
Period.
That's right.
Periodically." I remember that time my grandma went to North Korea and then she transferred over to Machu Picchu. The grandma. Oh, but
Yeah.
but yeah, that talk with Ryan, whatnot, you know, that was a very good talk. I really needed it. Um, really woke me up on a lot of things, and I'm gonna put forth everything that I possibly can into bettering, you know, my life. I'm gonna be stable, you know. I want to live a stable life. Whew. Um, yeah, you know, the carnival was fun. I toughed it out, and you know, I had a blast by myself. You know, I
Good.
think I'm starting to learn how to actually appreciate myself. It's tough, but I'm learning because I'm so used to getting an emotional dependency on you know who. I had emotional dependency. Like, think about it. Every time I made that phone call, what caused it? Loneliness. Because it's all I knew. Like, that was my first real relationship. And when you put so much time in something, and that's all you know, it's hard to break it. It's hard to break it. I mean, most of my 20s gone, but in the long run, when I hit 30, it's going to be a fresh start. So stop now. Use 28 and 29 to get in the right mind frame, and by 30, I should be fine. Mama, you didn't even listen to my song.
Yes. Oh, I
You
need
didn't.
to.
You were about to lie to me. You were about to lie to me.
No, I wouldn't lie to you.
You almost did. I heard you.
Well, maybe I almost did, but I didn't.
But you know what? My grandma is American.
I am an American.
My grandma is one of the best Americans in the whole wide universe, me in the state. Gosh. But yeah, when that's all you knew, like for example, like one of my friends from IMVU, because I'm going to start using that messenger app. I'm going to start trying to talk with people who are online, you know, just better my communication as a whole, you know. And yeah, so I've updated her, you know, because the first thing she brought up was IMVU because that's where I met her. But, you know, me and her have been friends for a long time. Like she brought up stuff that of someone that I remembered when I was in middle school. Like that's how long I've known this person. She's from Australia. But yeah, you know, I told her about how corrupt it is and, you know, how that game really messes up people's lives. And because, like, I don't know, when you're not mentally stable and you have an escape from it all, like, those virtual reality games will suck you up like a freaking, like a vortex to suck you up. And then you get engulfed. And then when you come back to reality, you got to face it. And it's, let's just say you were falling through that vortex very long. So when you hit the ground and you realize something's not right, and then you try to live life, it's hard because everything is on that computer screen. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. Oh, yeah, I remember what we were supposed to talk about on the podcast. I remember now, because because you didn't understand what I was saying. It took me so long to just brand it through you till you said, okay, I get it. Now listen, guys. One thing that I wish I grew up with my cousin Ryan. I really do. I really do, because I know I would have been a lot better. When me and Ryan were little, we were close. You know, we were always together. But when we made the move to Georgia, that broke it up. I didn't have that. I didn't have that growing up with the family, growing up with the cousins, growing up with the aunts and the uncles, and going over to family gatherings, you know. I didn't have that growing up. So you can see how this could have played an effect on my mental state, like, you know, because pretty much, like, I don't know what it's like to go to school with your cousins. I don't know what it's like, you know, when you have to cut off all your friends. Like, I never had my cousins to go to hang out with them instead. Like, it was always me by my lonely. Like, you know, like when I cut my friends off, Joy didn't want me anywhere near her friends. Because I remember when MySpace was a thing, I remember I tried to add all Joy's friends because I'm like, hey, oh, I'm Joy's brother, blah, blah, blah. And Joy would be like, why are you adding my friends? Quit adding my friends. So,
oh goodness.
Yeah, Joy did not want me anywhere near her friends. Don't know why. Whatever though. But which is kind of why, like, now it's kind of rough to even talk to Joy's friends, because that's like embedded in my brain growing up. And see, like my mom said, you can teach a new dog tricks. No, not on mine. It's not an excuse. That's what I was used to. Like, I was used to that. But I know why we moved out of there. I know why we moved out of Illinois. I know why we moved out. It was so Dad can take responsibility and, for his sobriety, I mean, sure, he might have like a beer every now and then, but it's nowhere near as bad as what it was in Illinois. I mean, Illinois is pretty dang bad. And the thing is like, everywhere Dad goes, temptation's everywhere there. And he wanted to live a stable life. What better move to live a stable life than to just live far away from your temptations, your family, and everything? Because the thing is, that type of lifestyle was in Dad's family with his uncles and everything. They all used to do that stuff. They'd hang out, drink, whatever. Like in Dad's friends that he grew up with, like Dad knew some rowdy people. My mom said that he was like good friends with this big time drug dealer who was a biker gang or bike gang leader or something like that. Like Mom said he hung out with some sketchy people. So there's no telling what type of stuff Dad did before him and Mom got together. But I don't even know what even got Mom to even meet Dad. Like, who was she hanging out with? Because Dad hung around like a pretty bad crowd, sounded like. But I mean, it's kind of selfish of me to say, I wish that I grew up around my family, but because, for Dad, see, Dad and Mom have nothing to worry about because you know why? They grew up having all that. They grew up with their aunts and their uncles and the gatherings at grandma's house or grandpa's house. Like, they had that growing up. For me, the holidays was always Mom, Dad, me, Joy. I remember that one Christmas with Maria and all of them. And that was on the home videos. We all had pajamas on and everything. I didn't grow up with that when we moved down here. I didn't grow up with that. I didn't get to see my little cousins grow up to be what they are today. I didn't see that. This created and one thing that I can't do, well, I mean, I try to, is I try to remain like they never left when I see them. But the thing is, like when I was growing up, it was so hard. When we went back to Illinois, whatever rare time we went, I distanced myself because it's like, I know who you are, but I don't know you. Like, that's playing in my head the whole time. Like, I don't know you. And I know, because I remember one time, Christina, I remember her seeing that because because I would basically go on these staring sprees where I would just kind of just stare. And it's like I'm trying to calculate. I'm trying to find somewhere in my brain, you used to be like best bud with Christina and Brittany and Tiffany and all of them. But it's
it was familiar, right?
I couldn't find it because she was grown. She had a kid, everything. Like, she was grown, had a kid, everything. And I was trying to find it in my mind. The thing is like, I probably maybe said like 3 words to her like the whole time when she was down here, like, because I didn't know how to properly communicate, because all I can say is they've changed so much. Like, I don't know you.
Yeah, that's right.
But the thing is with Joy, Joy acts like they didn't even leave. I don't know how she does it. My mom, my dad, they're the same way. Act like they never left. But me, I distance myself. And why haven't my parents noticed this? Because I've always done it. Even at family reunion, I remember the Holmes family reunion. And let me tell you, that reunion was freaking huge. And we were from Georgia. And the whole time I'm sticking out like a sore thumb just staring at everybody. Because I don't recognize half these people. Sure, Dad and Mom knew everybody. But I'm just sitting there. Like, I have to bring up to my casework because I have a feeling growing up like that, it has to mess you up somehow. It has to. It has to. Well, mess me up from what I have, you know? Because, man, I remember when I used to bang my head on the wall all the time, like when I throw these temper tantrums, how did this not raise red flags? How did it not raise red flags? Like, I know Mom said she got help with me and whatnot. That came up, blah, 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 blah. But it's like, as I got older, it would swap. Like, it's like, do they not want to just see these things? Like, it's like, because, man, like, I'm not even lying, Grandma. I got emotional, man. I kept repeating it to Ryan, saying, I wish I grew up with you, man. Because I'm struggling here. I'm 28 and I am struggling. Because I didn't have no brothers. My sister didn't want me to do nothing with her friends. Like, even when I tried to be friends with her friends, Joy wouldn't want it. That's what I grew up. That's how I grew up, man. Like, I mean, struggled through school, tons of failing grades, and if I read this stuff up, Mom just say that's excuses. It's not excuses, man. Life has been nothing but a constant battle, and it still is a battle to this day. Like, it really, I mean, sure, the battle's getting a little easier, but it's still a freaking battle. Like, Grandma, when I saw Ryan, his 2 kids, you know, I missed growing up with him.
Yeah, I bet.
And he was so close to me. He don't feel distant from me.
Well, that's a good thing.
And see, that's the thing that I was doing. Like, I was trying to find that when the last time I met him, because I do have a regret with Ryan, and I know he probably don't even remember, but I didn't apologize for it. But I remember when I had an episode in Decatur, and it freaked him out. And I never apologized for it. But, who knows, he's probably listening to it right now. Hey, man, if you're listening to this, I want to apologize for that time when I was in Decatur. You know, he introduced me to all his friends. Like, we were having a good time. I've never had this. This is a whole lot of change hitting my head right now. You know, I don't know how to act. I don't know any of these people, but I'm shaking their hand. You know, he's introducing. I've never had this. It's all a new experience. And, you know, but then we end the night, you know, he's driving his Corvette. You know, he sees some girls that are in the movie theater, and he is talking up a storm with confidence to these girls. And I'm just like, I don't know how he's doing that. Like, because this is when I would wear all black and, you know, basically the person I wasn't. That's not me. That's not me. The person who wore all black, that's not me. The person that my parents grew up with, that's not me. That's not me. It's not. That was basically a kid whose repetitive behavior of laughing was punished so much to a point where, you know, that's how I stopped just being myself. And I was this person. Like, I mean, yeah, I went by James, all this stuff, but I hid so much stuff. And I know you can relate to it because you hid a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Just now when the real me is coming out, my caseworker got me to take pride. Because usually, you want to know how I used to treat women I liked growing up? I used to treat them where I'd pretty much ignore them because I know how I respond, but I don't want to show it. So I just deny it. I deny them liking me, deny them wanting anything to do with me. I'll just deny it. No matter how many times they sit by me, I'll deny it. I'll remember there was this woman who was friends with Joy in high school. For some reason, I thought she had a liking for me. And she would randomly come up to me and talk to me. And I remember, I'll never forget, it was in the computer room. She randomly sat by me and she said, "So, James, what are you listening to?" And, and she found like this interest in me for like a month. But the thing is, I was so short to the point with everything. She eventually lost interest. Well, I don't think she did, because even after that, even after those, where I was just short to the point with everything, like for example, when she said, "So what are you listening to?" You know how I responded to it? I'll never forget. I was like, "It's probably nothing you ever heard of." And she was like, "Well, who is it?" And I was like, "I don't think you would like it." And then she kept trying to find a way to get the name of whatever I was listening to. And I even remember the band I was listening to. And I said, the name of the band is called Anorexia Nervosa. And she was just like, "Oh, okay." And then I don't know what happened from there. But pretty much, that's how the conversations were. They were short to the point, and I would make what she was interested in, I would basically say, "You're not interested in that," basically. That's how I was with any kind of crush. But like, Mom wants to say, "Yo, you never had that stuttering problem." I remember when I had a crush on a girl named Sharon. I mean, it was bad. Bad, bad, bad. I did everything in my power to even talk to her, and I could never get a word out. I remember I would listen to and this is kind of music that I would hide from people, but like I would listen to like AFI, and some of their love songs, and just to get me in the mood to where I would find the confidence to say, "Hey, Grandma, it took me 2 years to even finally say something." And then from there, like, her friend was playing the Wing Woman, and she said, "So James, are you coming to prom? Because Sharon's going to be there." And I was just like, "No," because like
Why?
2 years went by, like, and after all the stuff that I was trying to, talk to her and everything, it's like it was all done. But the thing is for some reason in my head, I didn't think that I deserved a good time. The person who I was not me. The person who, when my sister's friend was asking me what I'm listening to and stuff, like trying to make conversation to befriend, I would always shut him down because I didn't think this beautiful woman would want anything to do with me. She don't want anything to do with me because this isn't even really me. Like, sure, I wasn't saying that at that point, but I was denying every single thing. And I remember when, because Joy was very close friends with this woman for a while, and we would go to her place of work where she was a waitress. And I remember, just being in awe. But then, like if I ever saw her look at me and smile, like, I would just look the other way. But then when she would go back to communicating, I would look again because I was in awe from her. But those emotions was what I'm not allowed to express here because I get repetitive and all that stuff. And that was stuff that was basically frowned upon when I was growing up. And then my mom, they seem to have trouble understanding that I can't stay in that. I can't stay there that long. Like, I have reclusive tendencies. I have to be out and about. I can't even stay in my own apartment for so long because I'll eventually develop these reclusive tendencies. And I tried to explain that to her because Ryan went on a date with his wife, and it was coming like 10 o'clock, and I'm like, after me trying to explain, because that's the thing, I come up and I basically do what I do to my casework. I say, you'll be so proud of me. I actually spoke to a woman today. I actually complimented her and actually had a conversation. And my caseworker usually says, wow, look at you, James. You're improving. Well, when I try to do that to my mom, it's a whole different thing. She'll flip it and be like, well, James, it's not that hard to talk to a woman. Just don't be creepy. And it's like, what? See, that's what I mean. But see, that's what I mean. What they know about who I am is that fake James who didn't talk at all. Like, my parents don't know the real me. But when I try to be the real me around them, they act like it's so alien.
Oh.
See, I don't think you understand that because I know how when you say "oh" like that, you don't understand. But since I've gotten help with my therapist, caseworker, and them teaching me how to express who I am and whatnot, and eventually pull out what was in that virtual reality game and make it a reality instead. It's like every time I act like, how I really would, it's so alien to them. And when I tell them stuff that I'm accomplishing, thinking they would be proud of me for doing so, they learn to say, it's really not that hard. Like, anyone could do that. It's like,
yeah, you're accomplishing something.
But yeah, but the thing is they don't look at that as an accomplishment. Like, and then I had that talk with Ryan. See, that's why I think Ryan was supposed to come down here, because he really set me straight. Because my parents, they don't properly talk to me how they should. Because when I tell them stuff that I've improved during the week, because that's what I do with my caseworker. She wants to know what I've improved on during the week and what I've accomplished during the week, and I tell her, and she takes note of it. Like, she takes note of everything that I accomplish each week, and you'll see the results improving. But when I went to my mom to tell her, Mom, you won't believe this, but like, it's been so rough. Like you would be so proud of me. Like I haven't contacted Anna in like 4 weeks now. Like, you would be so proud of me. And she was like, I don't see what the point of it is. Like, what do you mean? And I'm like, I mean, I went through like a lot, and with going back and forth, like, I'm going strong still. And she was like, well, James, I mean, I don't know why you would put up with all that anyway. But it's really not that hard. And then we got into a discussion about that, and then, my socializing and communication came into the subject matter, and, how I've told her how I've been working on my stutter and all this. And she said, you never had a stutter, and all this stuff. And it's just like, It's like you're learning stuff about your reclusive son who you don't even know.
Oh, boy.
They only know someone who was quiet all the time. Because I'll never forget the day that I started being quiet James, and I'll never forget it. I was in the car with them, and this was when we had a Radio Shack, and I was in the back seat, and we're all in the family about to go out to eat, and I said this joke like 3 times, and I would laugh louder and louder each time I told the joke. And my mom says, James, all right, we get it. You said that joke already like 3 times. And it really hurt me as a kid. And I'll never forget that day. Since that day, that's when I kept quiet. And I believe that's when my reclusive behavior began. That very day.
How old were you then, James?
Oh, I was young. I was probably about 9.
Oh, really?
9 or 10, yeah.
Oh.
And that's when I started to be more quiet and more reclusive and more dependent on my video games, because on my video games I could be repetitive as I want. No problem there.
Uh-huh.
But it's like when you constantly punish your kid for being repetitive, it's only going to make the matter worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like I missed out on a lot growing up when it comes to family, and I really do wish I grew up with my cousin. I really do. Because I know he would have taken care of me. We would have prospered together, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try to do my best to keep that bond with him. I'm going to try to talk to him at least once a week.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah. Because just knowing that he still cares and stuff, like that's amazing.
Yeah. It sounds like he really does care.
He does. He does. But see, it's just, I missed out on growing up with the family. Like, think about it. I would not have had any of these issues that, you know, come to mind, because I would have always had a place to go if I stayed in Illinois. Like, say,
Yeah.
I don't know, say, we go to a family gathering, and, some of my cousins bring some of their friends, and, I'm meeting all these different people, networking through my family members and knowing their friends. Like, I never had that. I never had that. I never had networking. And when I tried to talk to any of my sister's friends growing up, she did not want me to be friends with them growing up.
I don't see why not.
Because Joy was like very popular in school. I wasn't. Just don't. I just honestly, I wish I grew up with my family though. Because it would have made things so much easier. Because if Joy was going to be that, to be honest, Joy probably wouldn't have been that way if she grew up with the family. She would probably been, my friends are your friends are my friends, and it would become like a whole network, because she would have adapted that behavior from her cousins, and how she met friends through their friends, and you're supposed to network. Like, this was before social network, where your cousins would have friends, and you would have friends, and they would meet your friends, and that's how Dad knows so many people. That's how Mom knows so many people.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
they had the networking growing up. Me and Joy didn't. And I honestly think I'm going to ask my caseworker because that can really mess up someone. Because I'm sure it definitely plays a big role. Because when I would be put in the circumstances of seeing all my family and their friends who I don't know, I didn't know how to properly even approach, the subject matter of, hey, blah, blah, long time no see. Yeah, it's been forever. Like, I can't do that. It's just like, hi, and I'll be quiet. And, like, follow dad everywhere, follow mom everywhere. And I would be distant. That's what I would do because I felt uncomfortable. I didn't know. I knew they were, but they grown so much, like I didn't know. I didn't know how to act accordingly. And see, that's the thing, like, I've improved so much.
You have.
But it's like, I don't know if my parents are seeing it.
Well, I see it.
Oh, I know you do. Like my whole socializing, my social skills, everything. Like, but Ryan told me to stop trying to make them understand because they're not going to understand.
Yeah.
But I will stand my ground, like when I have to. Like, you can either choose not to believe whatever, or you can just leave me alone about it. Because, like when Dad said, when Kyra brought up, oh yeah, my mom's bipolar. Yeah. She said, oh, my mom's been diagnosed bipolar, blah, blah, blah. And Dad's like, bipolar? She ain't no bipolar. And she was like, yes, she is. You guys never seen around her episodes. And they were just like, Dad just said, that just sounds like some kind of excuse. Mental illness runs high in our family. Even Ryan agreed with me on that.
Oh, he did?
Yes.
Oh.
Mental illness runs high in our family. And it is hereditary because that's one thing they ask you when you're getting diagnosed. They ask you what are the typical diagnoses in your family and whatnot. Because if you have a problem, very well someone else had a problem and they didn't get help for it. You, like, for example, your mom. Your mom never got help for it. So therefore it carried down to you. See, that's what I mean. Like, there's going to be a ton of people having mental problems because no one is getting help. You have unstable people raising kids, and these kids are learning their unstable behavior, which is only causing more mental problems for the individual.
Yeah.
And then when you try to talk to people about this matter, they're like, sounds like some kind of excuse. But like Ryan put it, everyone's in their own battle. It might not be the same as yours, but you're facing the real world just like everyone else. So to a stranger, you're coming off as a normal person.
That's right.
So, yeah, I've been doing that. I'm putting his words into play. And, I do wish I grew up with him though. I have a feeling I would have developed a lot more being around him. Because, like, when I was in school, I mean, come on, man. You really think Ryan would let me be, not talking to anybody and stuff. No, Ryan's a social butterfly. Well, he can be.
Oh,
Yeah, when he was growing up, I remember he had a lot of friends growing up, and I met all his friends, and we would go to his house and play Twisted Metal and all this stuff. And see, that's what I mean. I didn't have that growing up. I didn't get to meet my cousin's friends. I didn't get to hang out with them and their friends. I didn't get to have, where you call up your cousin and say, hey, I ain't got nothing to do today. What are you guys doing? And they say, oh, I'm about to go grab a bite to eat with so-and-so. Do you want to come? And I'm like, sure. Like, I didn't have that. Do you know how much that would have been a big benefit on my problem? Like, I wouldn't be so far behind, basically. That's why I think there had to be something. I mean, I know you're born with autism and whatnot, but I'm talking about the other diagnosis that I got. Like, it's like, I'm just trying to figure out where it all derived from. And I'm wondering if me being autistic, having a very close bond with the whole family, then being ripped away from that when we moved to Georgia. Like, because autistic people are known for being overly emotionally attached. I mean, just look at me and Anna, for crying out loud. I kept going back and back and back because I had that emotional attachment. No matter what the problem was, I'd eventually go back. Like, the only way I can explain this, like, the way I'm imaging it in my brain is like ripping the umbilical cord from the mother, but except the umbilical cord is attached to your whole family tree. And everyone's in Illinois, but not you. You're going to Georgia away from the pack. I didn't grow up with the pack. I didn't get to see my uncles, grow up with my uncles. There's no telling who I would have been in Illinois.
yeah. Well, so now go from here. I think you're doing great, James.
Oh yeah, I am. But it's just I'm so far behind, and when I'm trying to catch my parents up to where I'm at, I'm trying to let them understand this is who your son really is. Like, the behaviors that you hear me coming up with, this is stuff that I used to be punished for. And basically, mom is still acting like, you'll get punished for doing this. You'll get punished for doing that, basically. Because, like, she gets off in a very defensive tone when I bring up that it's trouble for me to talk to women and all this other stuff. And she'll automatically bring up, don't be creepy. It's not that hard, blah, blah, blah. But see, that's the thing. The approach my mom was doing on it was negative. But when Ryan told me, Ryan was more positive about it, was helping me, and instead of basically going straight to the negative. Like, he didn't say, he didn't say, well, don't be negative, or don't be creepy, He didn't say that. He asked me, what's wrong, James? Tell me what's wrong. Because your Facebook posts have been having me at a concern, man. And I'm like, just telling them everything. And then, instead of him saying, well, don't be creepy, well, it's not that hard, He was more positive. He can tell that I had a struggle with it. And it's kind of like, why can't my own mother and father speak to me like this? Like, when I am confused about something, why do they straight go on the deep end with it? And they do that to you too. Your side of the family always does that to you. Like, they go straight at the deep end attack mode. And then when you say you're struggling, it's like, oh, that's an excuse. That's an excuse. And it's like, but yet Ryan did it so well. Like, I told him what my weak points are, and he told me how I can better those weak points.
He's good.
Yeah, I know. My grandma is so flipping cool. One time my grandma went to America, and then she said Amerigas. Remember that? But yeah. You see, like, when I say these funny things to you, I can't do that around my parents. That was something I was not allowed to do in growing up. I was not allowed to say these off-the-wall things that don't make sense. Like, I wasn't. Which,
That's why you have such a hard time with it.
Yep. I can't be my full, complete self with them without them. I mean, I stood my ground when when they were just. I mean, it was all three of them, Mom, Dad, and George, just going at it, and I stood my ground between all of them. Like, I was like, explain then, explain what you mean then. And they said, I already explained, and I said, really? Well, then I must not have heard you. Explain again. Like, I didn't come on the attack mode. I just stood there and just, like, questioned everything. Because I was giving them my response, but my response wasn't good enough. They just said, oh, that sounds like an excuse. Oh, man. Everything's a frickin' excuse.
Not really.
Oy vey. Oy frickin' vey. But, I remember that time I went to New Orleans and my grandma ordered some jumbo shrimp from the bayou. And she said, I'll have 2 shrimp scampies with a side of crawfish and crawdads. Remember that?
Boy.
See, I wish I could be my complete self and say these bizarre things that I want to say. But see, I've never really was, like, Mom did not find that stuff funny at all. But it was my personality, and when I would go on these repetitive sprees, it was like, stop doing that. We've heard it a million times. Or you know what really would get me? When we would watch stand-up comedy together as a family, and, like, one of the comedians said a joke that was just so funny, I would not stop laughing about it. And my mom would literally look at me and say, it wasn't that funny. Like, it would just kill my mood. Like, it's like, and then I would just go to my room.
Oh, my.
Like, I'm pretty sure if we had a camera rolling my whole life, it would be easier to pinpoint everything. But that's the thing. You can't do that. See, that's what I mean. Like, if I was having those moments, see, I would have probably went to a family member that accepted my behavior, and then I would always have been around them. So that behavior would have been welcomed. And then, and then if they were to say, why is James acting like this? And they say, what do you mean? He always acts like that. What are you talking about? They say, I've never seen him do that. See, that's what I mean. When you're pulled away from your family tree, you can't find family members who are like you. And I already know I would have hung out with Colton and Ryan. I mean, Colton came a long freaking way. Like, I'm so impressed. I mean, everything, how how long he's came. Like, he went from being a kid that had a lot of trouble to now look at him. He's talking and everything, like, very social, like, social butterfly. He likes telling jokes. Like, I wish I grew up with him. I wish I grew up with Ryan. Because I know that's where I would have been. I probably would have been with Colton and Ryan, running with them, and meeting Ryan's friends and all that stuff. I
Well,
didn't,
see, you get along with them.
yeah. Yeah, I do. But I didn't have that growing up, though.
Yeah.
So basically, when I would get punished for my behavior, they couldn't see that there was other family members welcoming that behavior. Like, my parents could never question why their kid was doing this, and then they see it from a different standpoint. They never got that.
Oh boy.
Yeah, tell me about it. So I think that's really on my brain right now. Just being pulled away from the family tree. I mean, going out of state, you can't talk to them. And then when they add you on social media, you don't even know how to properly talk to anyone. Like, I'm working on it though.
Yeah.
I know my grandma went to North Korea today. And then she went to Machu Picchu.
Machu Picchu.
Yeah. But that's really on my mind though. Like, I wonder if such a drastic change is, because when me and Joy moved down here, I was 7. Like, that's only 7 years around your whole family. You grew up with that. You're still developing. You're only a 7-year-old kid, and then
Oh,
just to have
yeah.
that drastic change, like, just pulled away from your whole pack, like, whatever mental problems I had, because you know dang well I did, man. My temper tantrums were horrible as a kid. So there's no telling how that affected me when I moved down here. And then, like, when Maul would want to call and stuff, and, like, it's kind of like I didn't know what to say to her on the phone because I grew up pretty much, without her being there. And it was like, when I was a kid, I just never wanted to talk on the phone with any family members. Like, I didn't feel the need. Like, I was already recluse, playing video games all the time. That's all I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But now I'm really questioning on how this could impact someone with my diagnosis. I'm gonna go see about with my caseworker, and I bet $1,000,000 if I go back and tell my family, then they'll probably say, "Oh, that just sounds like some kind of excuse." But it's like, no. I mean, think about it. You're a 7-year-old kid. You're used to going to your great grandma's house, your grandma's house. Me and Joy spent a lot of time at Grandma Phyllis's house. Remember that? We spent a lot there. And then we would go to Ma's house. We would go all over the place with them.
Yeah.
That's why it's so alien for my parents that I don't go and visit them all the time, because that's what they grew up with. That's what they grew up with. But you see, I didn't have that growing up. I didn't have that growing up.
Yeah.
I never got to see how close family was supposed to be. I never seen that, you know? And staying close to your family over the phone is not going to help the kid understand. Sure, you're close with them because you grew up with these people. You can talk to them on the phone, no problem. But it's really hard for me, like, to call my cousins. Like, I don't want to do that because it just feels weird. Like, I feel like a burden. Like, I don't know. It's just, I'm really starting to think, I wonder if, like, I would have had a really good life being around the pack.
That what, James?
It just makes me really wonder if I would have had a better life, being around the pack, your family, like the family, the whole family. Like, there was always a place to go. Like, for example, like, when I was kicked out, if I was kicked out of the house up in Illinois, there was anywhere I could have went. I could have went to anyone's house. I would have never been homeless. But here, there's nowhere to go.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to find out about that, though, from my caseworker to see how that can, because I'm really starting to think, what if that drastic move made whatever problems I had as a kid even worse, because I was removed from what I knew and what I was used to. Like, I remember I was used to being dropped off at your house every morning. Like,
that's right.
Sure, we were around the family all the time. We were still developing. Our brains were still developing. We were still understanding how close family is. But then to be ripped away, and you're like, I'm a 7-year-old kid. And then most of my years were here. I can see how that can, because I know I had some problems as a kid, but I can see how that can make them more severe. Like, you see, it's just really making me think. But this podcast's been going on for a little bit. I think we're going to put it to a close. You got anything you want to advertise?
Just that Jesus loves you, everybody out there, and He is Lord.
Anything else you want to advertise?
The Dunkin' Donut iced coffee. So good. With a large. Boy.
It's getting good. It's getting good.
Large mocha iced coffee and some cream for $1.21 between 1 o'clock in the afternoon and 6 o'clock in the evening.
You guys heard it here first. Get to work. And see, that's another thing that makes me think. Do you notice how we're repetitive with what we advertise, both of us?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, anyway, I want to advertise Machu Picchu. That's where my grandma's from. And that is all for the podcast today, guys. If you made it
everybody. Good night.
If you made it this far, go down to the comments and type in Machu Picchu. And we're out. Peace.